Hey guys, tonight we're not exactly going on a comfy armchair travel adventure. Tonight, we're strapping on our metaphorical hiking boots, or maybe, more accurately, our very dusty, sun-filled socks, and heading straight for one of the most immense, unforgiving, and utterly mysterious places on Earth, the Sahara Desert. Close your eyes for a second. Can you feel the dry, hot air prickling your skin? The endless, undulating dunes stretching to horizons that shimmer with heat haze. The sun a brutal eye in an impossibly blue sky, beating down on everything, leaching every drop of moisture. You can almost taste the grit of ancient dust on your tongue. Hear the mournful whisper of the wind as it sculpts the sand into ever-changing patterns. It's vast, it's beautiful in its own brutal way, and honestly, you probably wouldn't survive more than a few days out there without some serious planning. A satellite phone and about 50 gallons of water. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Also, let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you. It's always wild to think about us all connecting across time zones and continents. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're standing at the edge of it now, the Sahara, this colossal, golden ocean of sand and rock, stretching for over 9 million square kilometers. That's roughly the size of the entire United States. By the way, it's so big it swallows up whole countries. You gaze out, and all you see are shades of ochre and rust. A landscape so seemingly devoid of life that it feels alien. But that, my friends, is the first and perhaps the most mind-bending secret this giant sandbox holds. What you see now, this parched, desolate expanse, is merely a fleeting snapshot in geological time. Because, for millennia, for periods stretching back further than recorded history, the Sahara was anything but a desert. Imagine a radically different scene. Instead of endless dunes, you're looking out over lush green savannas, dotted with acacia trees and teeming with life. Think about it. Vast grasslands, winding rivers, enormous freshwater lakes shimmering under a sky that actually brought rain. You hear the trumpeting of elephants, the low grunts of hippos wallowing in muddy pools, maybe even the distant roar of a lion. Giraffes graze peacefully, their long necks reaching for the highest leaves. And, more importantly, people live here. They fish in those lakes, hunt the abundant game, gather wild grains, and build settlements along the fertile riverbanks. This isn't some fantasy. This was the Sahara. We're talking about what scientists call the African humid period, a stretch of time that began roughly 14,500 years ago and ended, quite dramatically, around 5,000 years ago. For thousands of years, the Sahara was green. It was, in essence, a paradise. The mechanism for this incredible transformation is one of those cool, cosmic-scale facts. It largely came down to tiny wobbles in Earth's orbit and tilt. Our planet, you see, isn't a perfectly stable spinning top. It precesses like a slightly off-kilter top, and its tilt relative to the sun varies. These subtle shifts, known as Milankovitch cycles, changed the intensity of sunlight hitting the northern hemisphere during different seasons. During the African humid period, the northern hemisphere got more intense summer sunlight, which strengthened the West African monsoon, pulling moisture much further north than it does today. It was like cranking up the global air conditioning and humidity settings for an entire continent. The evidence for this verdant past isn't just theory, either. It's carved into rock, buried in sediment, and even visible from space. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence, and perhaps the most beautiful, is the ancient rock art found in places like the Tassili Nojja Plateau in southeastern Algeria. Imagine hiking through a landscape of fantastical rock formations, a forest of stone, and then, tucked away in a sheltered overhang, you find it. Murals, paintings, engravings, created by people who lived here thousands of years ago. And what do they depict? Not people trudging through sand, struggling for water. Oh no. They show herds of cattle, their flanks plump and well-fed. They show giraffes, towering above the grasses, elephants, with their massive ears fanning in the imagined breeze. Rhinos, crocodiles, and, incredibly, scenes of people swimming or standing waist-deep in water, hunting hippos with spears. It's almost mind-boggling when you think about the Sahara today. These aren't just pretty pictures, they're historical documents, painted by eyewitnesses to a vibrant, living Sahara. But it's not just art. Beneath the modern desert, lurking just below the surface, are the ghostly remnants of ancient riverbeds. Satellite imagery, using radar that can penetrate the dry sand, has revealed vast networks of what look like dendritic patterns, like the branches of a tree, tracing the paths of long-dead rivers. One such colossal river, nicknamed the Trans-African River by some, is believed to have snaked its way across thousands of kilometers, potentially even connecting Central African river systems to the Atlantic Ocean. Think about that. A river as long as the Nile, but completely gone, swallowed by the sands of time. And where there were rivers, there were lakes. Scientists have found evidence of massive ancient lakes, some larger than modern-day Lake Superior, that once dotted the Saharan landscape. Lake Megachad, for instance, in its heyday, was larger than the entire Caspian Sea and served as a vital water source for countless creatures and human settlements. You can actually see the faint outlines of its ancient shorelines from space. It's like the desert is trying to tell us its story, whispering through the faint echoes of water. So, for thousands of years, humans thrived in this green Sahara. These weren't just scattered nomadic groups, though certainly many were. Archaeological digs have unearthed tools, pottery, and even evidence of organized settlements, some dating back as far as 10,000 years ago. Imagine these early communities, living a life that seems almost idyllic compared to the harsh realities of the modern desert. They were skilled hunters and fishers. We've found harpoons, made of bone, suggesting a sophisticated knowledge of aquatic life. They had nets, fishing weirs. This wasn't just survival. It was a way of life that flourished for millennia. But then, as abruptly as it began, the Green Age faded. Around 5,000 years ago, that cosmic AC unit started to power down. The Milankovitch cycle shifted again. The monsoon weakened, and the life-giving rains began to retreat southwards. It wasn't an overnight collapse, but a gradual, inexorable drying. Over a period of centuries, perhaps 1,000 years, the rivers dwindled, the lakes shrank, and the vibrant savannas slowly, inevitably, gave way to the encroaching sand. It's a sobering thought. An entire ecosystem, a way of life, vanished beneath the shifting dunes. And these people, who had called the Green Sahara home for generations, what did they do? Well, they had choices, or rather, desperate necessities. Many migrated. The Nile Valley, to the east, became a magnet, a lifeline. As the desert expanded, it funneled populations towards the river, concentrating people in a narrower, more fertile strip. Historians still argue whether this influx of people, fleeing the desiccation of the Sahara, was a key factor in the rapid development of early Egyptian civilization. Think about it. All these diverse groups, bringing their knowledge, their skills, their cultural practices, converging on one fertile strip of land. It could have been a crucible for innovation, a demographic boom that laid the groundwork for pharaohs and pyramids. It's one of those big, juicy what-if questions that keeps academics up at night. But not everyone left. Some groups adapted, and some, perhaps surprisingly, built advanced societies within the burgeoning desert. This brings us to another layer of secrets, perhaps even more intriguing than the green past, the lost cities and hidden civilizations that managed to defy the encroaching sands, at least for a time. You see, the Sahara isn't just a lifeless void. It's a vast, sandy archive, preserving secrets for millennia. And one of the most remarkable discoveries beneath its surface, or rather, within its most desolate regions, are the remnants of the Garamontes. Now, you probably haven't heard of the Garamontes. They don't get the same PR as the Egyptians or the Romans. But these people, who lived in what is now the Fezzan region of Libya, were an incredibly sophisticated civilization that flourished between 500 BCE and 700 CE, well into the desertification period. Imagine trying to build a complex society in the heart of what was rapidly becoming a hyper-arid desert. It sounds impossible, right? But they did it. Their secret? Water, of course, but not just any water. They were masters of a unique, ingenious irrigation system called *Foggara*, or *Canet* in other regions. These were underground tunnels, sometimes stretching for tens of kilometers, dug horizontally into the earth to tap into ancient fossil aquifers, water reserves that had accumulated during the long-gone green periods. Think about the sheer human effort involved, digging these vast, subterranean networks by hand, in the middle of a desert, often without proper ventilation or light. It's mind-boggling. They were essentially mining water from beneath the desert floor, and this water wasn't just for drinking. It supported agriculture. The Garamontes grew grapes, dates, olives, and grain in an area that today is almost entirely barren. They built towns and even what some archaeologists classify as cities, with fortified walls, public baths, and sophisticated buildings. Their capital, Karama, modern-day Jerma, was a bustling hub. We found evidence of hundreds of these settlements, sprawling across the desert, hinting at a population that numbered in the tens of thousands. The Garamontes were also fierce warriors and skilled charioteers. Roman accounts described them as a formidable force, raiding Roman outposts and desert caravans. Imagine the shock of a Roman legionary slogging through the sand, only to be ambushed by chariots thundering across the dunes, seemingly appearing from nowhere. Their unique mode of warfare, combined with their control of vital trans-Saharan trade routes. They controlled the flow of gold, salt, and exotic goods from sub-Saharan Africa to the Mediterranean, made them a powerful and enigmatic force in the ancient world. They were, in many ways, the unacknowledged masters of a desert empire, a civilization that defied the very nature of its environment. They didn't just survive, they thrived, creating a remarkable culture right in the teeth of the Sahara's growing harshness. But like all empires, even those built on ingenious water management, their time eventually came to an end. What caused their decline? Was it the depletion of their precious fossil water reserves, shifts in trade routes, or perhaps, as the desert continued its relentless march, even their impressive technology couldn't hold back the tide of sand forever? That's still a matter of scholarly debate, of course, but it points to the fragility of even the most clever human adaptations. In the face of immense environmental change, the desert, though, continues to hold its secrets. Because while the Garamontes are a relatively known lost civilization, what about the truly lost ones? The ones we haven't found yet? The ones whispered about in ancient texts or hinted at in fleeting glimpses from satellite images? It's not just ancient rivers and cities beneath the sands. Sometimes, the desert offers up something truly unexpected, something that challenges our understanding of human ingenuity and early civilization in ways we're still trying to comprehend. And sometimes, it's not just about what humans built, but what nature itself created. And what's strange, sometimes frightening, things were left behind. The Sahara is a graveyard and a cradle, a place of death and life, all buried and waiting to be uncovered. You close your eyes for a moment, trying to picture it, not just a flat, sandy expanse, but layers upon layers of history, geological time piled up like sedimentary rock, each layer holding its own stories. It's like a colossal, sandy Matryoshka doll, with one mystery tucked inside another, and another. And for archaeologists, historians, and even just plain curious folks like us, this isn't just a place to study. It's a giant, dusty invitation to dig. How do you even begin to dig in an area larger than the United States? You don't just wander out there with a shovel, hoping to trip over a lost city. That's a good way to become a mummy yourself, without the fancy linen wraps. No, modern archaeology in the Sahara is less Indiana Jones whip-cracking and more high-tech detective work, combined with a healthy dose of extreme endurance. Think satellite imagery that can spot subtle variations in topography, hinting at ancient riverbeds or telltale mounds of collapsed structures. Think ground-penetrating radar, sending pulses deep into the sand to map out what lies beneath. Like a geological ultrasound. Think drones soaring silently overhead, capturing detailed photographic mosaics that reveal patterns invisible from the ground. It's an epic game of hide-and-seek, played on the grandest scale, where the desert itself is the ultimate master of disguise. And what they're finding, even beyond the impressive Garamontes, pushes the boundaries of what we thought early human societies were capable of. Remember those intrepid folks who stayed behind when the Sahara started drying up. While some migrated to the Nile, others, it seems, doubled down on desert living, finding ways to not just survive, but to innovate in truly extraordinary ways. Take, for instance, the incredibly ancient people known as the Assyrian culture. We're talking about a group that flourished between, roughly 150,000 and 20,000 years ago, mostly during periods when parts of the Sahara were already quite arid. These aren't the folks from the lush green Sahara. These are the Og desert dwellers, tough as nails and smart as whips. What makes them so fascinating? Their tools. While many ancient cultures used hand axes or simple flakes, the Assyrians developed a unique kind of stone tool called a tang tool. Imagine a stone arrowhead or scraper, but with a small, narrow projection or tang at its base. Why is this a big deal? Because that tang was designed to be hafted or attached to a handle or a spear shaft. This might sound obvious to us, living in the age of superglue and power drills, but for our ancient ancestors, this was a massive technological leap. It meant they weren't just using rocks as blunt instruments. They were creating composite tools, extending their reach, increasing their leverage, and making hunting far more efficient. It's like going from hitting a nail with a rock to using a hammer. Suddenly, you're not just surviving, you're mastering your environment. And where do we find these tools? Scattered across vast stretches of the Sahara, often in places that are utterly desolate today. It suggests that these Assyrian groups were highly mobile, adapting to fluctuating climate conditions, chasing resources, and probably had a surprisingly sophisticated understanding of their landscape. They were likely among the first true desert nomads, living a precarious but ingenious existence, constantly on the move, yet leaving behind these tantalizing clues to their presence. The sheer geographical spread of Assyrian sites, from Morocco to the Nile Valley, hints at a vast network of knowledge and perhaps even trade. Long before we thought such things were common, it challenges the stereotype of early humans as simple cave dwellers. These were sophisticated, adaptable beings pushing the boundaries of technology. But not everything found in the Sahara is a testament to human ingenuity. Sometimes the desert coughs up secrets that are, well, out of this world. Literally, you might have heard of meteorites. The Sahara is a gold mine for them, a vast, flat, relatively stable landscape where dark space rocks stand out starkly against the light sand. When they fall, they just sit there, often for millennia, remarkably preserved by the dry conditions. Scientists have recovered thousands of meteorites from the Sahara, including rare lunar and Martian rocks. It's like the universe is sending us postcards from distant worlds, delivered right to our sandy doorstep. Imagine finding a piece of the moon just lying there, glinting in the sun. A billion-year-old fragment of cosmic history. Pretty wild, right? But then there's something even stranger. Libyan desert glass. It's not a meteorite, but it's intimately linked to something extraterrestrial. You might have seen it without knowing what it was. It's a translucent, yellowish-green silica glass found exclusively in a remote region of the Sahara, specifically the Great Sand Sea, straddling the border between Egypt and Libya. It's beautiful, almost jewel-like, and ancient Egyptians actually used it in their jewelry. King Tutankhamun's famous pectoral, for instance, has a scarab beetle carved from Libyan desert glass right at its center. Talk about bling with a backstory. For decades, scientists scratched their heads about its origin. It's too pure to be volcanic glass, like obsidian. It doesn't look like tektites, which are usually small, glassy bits formed from meteorite impacts melting terrestrial rock. This stuff is often found in large pieces, sometimes weighing several kilograms. The leading theory, finally solidified by a meteorite impact crater found in 2007, the Kibera crater, though not the exact source of the glass, points to the mechanism. Is that Libyan desert glass was formed when a massive extraterrestrial object, probably an asteroid or a comet, slammed into the Sahara around 28 million years ago. The impact would have generated unfathomable heat and pressure, instantly vaporizing the surface sand and rock, then allowing it to cool rapidly into this unique glass. Imagine the explosion, a flash of light brighter than 1,000 suns, followed by a shockwave that flattened everything for miles, then a rain of molten glass. It's a terrifying, magnificent thought. And now, you can just pick up a piece of that ancient cosmic violence, cool to the touch, smoothed by millennia of wind-blown sand, and wear it as a necklace. Nature's own little historical marker, telling a story of truly cataclysmic events. Speaking of things that challenge our perspective, let's zoom out again. Remember how we talked about seeing ancient riverbeds from space? Well, satellites and aerial photography have revealed other enormous, enigmatic structures across the desert. Structures that aren't natural. We're talking about desert kites. No, not the kind you fly with a string, though the name comes from their distinctive shape. These are vast, ancient stone structures, often hundreds of meters or even kilometers long, consisting of long walls converging on an enclosure. They look like giant kites viewed from above. Their purpose? They were sophisticated hunting traps. Imagine you're an ancient hunter. You see a herd of gazelles or wild asses. Instead of chasing them one by one, you funnel them, using these strategically built walls, into an enclosure where they can be easily trapped and culled. These desert kites are found all over the Middle East and North Africa, with some of the most impressive examples in the Jordanian and Syrian deserts, but also significant finds in the Sahara. The sheer scale of these structures, often requiring coordinated labor from hundreds, if not thousands, of people, tells us something profound about early human societies. This wasn't just small groups eking out a living. This was organized, large-scale cooperation, hinting at complex social structures, leadership, and a deep understanding of animal behavior and landscape management. They were practicing industrial-scale hunting, essentially, tens of thousands of years before we thought humans were capable of such feats. It's a massive archaeological undertaking just to map them all, let alone understand the full scope of their use and who built them. It pushes back the timeline for civilization and organized labor in ways that are truly staggering. And these are just the things we can *C* or relatively easily unearth. What about the whispers, the legends, the things that still elude us? The desert, with its constant cycle of burying and revealing, holds untold secrets. Every now and then, a massive sandstorm will peel back a layer, exposing something previously hidden. A flash flood might carve out a new wadi, revealing ancient tools or pottery shards. It's a geological lottery, a cosmic game of peekaboo. The drying of the Sahara, while catastrophic for many, also created a perfect, albeit unintentional, preserving environment. The lack of moisture means things don't rot. Organic materials, textiles, even bodies, can be desiccated and preserved for millennia, like giant natural time capsules. You've heard of Egyptian mummies, of course, but the Sahara has its own, much older mummies, some dating back as far as 7,000 years ago, like the one Muhagiag mummy found in Libya, a child buried curled up, preserved not by elaborate embalming, but by the very sand itself. And these aren't royalty. These are ordinary people, caught in the slow, relentless grip of desertification. They offer an incredibly poignant glimpse into the lives of the early Saharan people, their rituals, their health, their diets. Imagine carefully unwrapping a millennium-old cloth to find a perfectly preserved, tiny hand. It's a humbling, almost sacred encounter with the past. The Sahara is also a stark reminder of humanity's incredible adaptability, but also its profound vulnerability. The story of the Green Sahara's demise, the struggle of the Garamontes, the ingenuity of the Assyrians. It is all a grand narrative of human response to radical environmental change. We often think of climate change as a modern problem, but the Sahara's history shows us it's been a constant, powerful force shaping human destiny for hundreds of thousands of years. The desert wasn't always a barrier. Sometimes it was a filter, concentrating populations, forcing innovation and creating unique cultural trajectories. And within this vast, sand-dusted canvas, there are still entire chapters unwritten. Entire libraries of history buried just beyond our reach. We talk about lost cities, but what about lost asterisk languages asterisk? Lost asterisk writing systems asterisk? What about the vast, ancient trade networks that crisscross the desert, connecting sub-Saharan Africa with the Mediterranean and beyond, long before the Silk Road was a twinkle in a merchant's eye? The salt routes, the gold routes, the routes for slaves and exotic animals. They were lifelines across this sea of sand, creating immense wealth and power for those who controlled them. The Garamontes were just one powerful player in this game. What other empires rose and fell? Their stories now just a whisper on the wind. Their achievements entombed beneath dunes that shift only subtly, revealing hints of what lies beneath only to cover them up again. Consider the sheer enormity of the Sahara's unexcavated potential. Every dune, every rocky outcrop, every dry riverbed is a potential archaeological site. It's like an infinitely complex jigsaw puzzle, with most of the pieces still buried, waiting for a chance alignment of technology, funding, and sheer luck. Sometimes, it's not even ancient human history that's unearthed, but something far, far older. The Sahara is not just a repository of human past, but of deep geological time. Fossils of ancient marine life, giant fish, even dinosaurs, are occasionally found in areas that were once prehistoric seabeds or lush coastal plains. Imagine stumbling upon the fossilized skeleton of a massive prehistoric crocodile, its jaws wide open in a silent roar, in the middle of a desert that hasn't seen a drop of water in millions of years. It's a truly humbling experience, connecting you to a time scale that makes human history seem like a blink of an eye. And yet, despite all these incredible discoveries, despite the satellite maps and the ground-penetrating radar, the Sahara still holds its most profound mysteries close. There are tales passed down through generations of Tuareg nomads, of ancient ruins swallowed whole by the sands, of cities that shine like gold at sunset, only to vanish by dawn. Are these just myths, born of heat haze and the endless monotony of the dunes? Or are they echoes of real places, places still waiting to be rediscovered, their secrets intact, perhaps even containing knowledge that could redefine our understanding of the ancient world? The desert doesn't give up its secrets easily. It guards them fiercely, with scorching winds, blinding sandstorms, and vast, waterless expanses that can swallow the unprepared whole. It's a place of extreme beauty and extreme danger, a place that reminds us of the fragility of life and the relentless power of geological forces. But for those willing to brave its challenges, for those who listen closely to the whispering sands, the Sahara offers an unparalleled window into the deepest past, a past that continues to unfold, revealing layer after astonishing layer, and as the sun begins its slow descent, painting the dunes in fiery hues of orange and red, you can almost hear the desert breathing, a slow, ancient breath, waiting for the next secret to rise to the surface. And believe me, there are always more secrets. There are whispers of something even stranger, something that challenges not just our understanding of history, but of reality itself. Something that makes ancient cities and green savannas seem almost mundane in comparison. But that, my friends, is a story for another night, when the desert reveals its most perplexing, perhaps even terrifying, enigmas. For now, let the thought of ancient glass, buried rivers, and lost civilizations swirl in your mind. Carried on the Sahara's ancient winds, drift off to sleep and dream of hidden depths. Drift off to sleep and dream of hidden depths. But before you completely succumb to the land of Nod, let's just nudge open that door to the really weird stuff, shall we? Because the Sahara, this ancient, sun-baked canvas of sand and stone, isn't just a graveyard of civilizations or a cosmic landing pad for meteorites. Oh no, it holds whispers of something even stranger, something that challenges not just our understanding of history, but of reality itself. Something that makes ancient cities and green savannas seem almost mundane in comparison. You know that feeling when you're watching a documentary and they pull out a blurry photo of a supposed Bigfoot or a Loch Ness monster. You scoff, you roll your eyes, but a tiny, mischievous part of your brain wonders, what if? Well, the Sahara has its own version of that what if, just on a scale that dwarfs any cryptid. We're talking about structures so immense, so geometrically precise, that if they aren't natural, then the implications are truly mind-bending. Let's talk about the Richard structure. Ever seen it? No, not in person, unless you're an astronaut. It's best viewed from space or via satellite imagery, which, let's be honest, is how most of us do our desert exploring these days. Imagine a giant, perfectly circular bullseye, about 50 kilometers, that's over 30 miles in diameter, smack dab in the Mauritanian desert. It looks like a colossal fingerprint, or a target painted on the Earth's surface, with concentric rings of alternating rock types eroded at different rates, forming these incredible, almost artistic patterns. For decades, scientists thought it was an impact crater, a truly massive one, the kind that makes you thankful you went around 100 million years ago, when whatever hit would have done so with a bang that would have rearranged your internal organs, assuming you had any. But here's the rub. There's no conclusive evidence of an impact, no telltale shock metamorphosed rock, no melted fragments, none of the usual suspects you'd expect from a cosmic collision of that magnitude. So, the prevailing scientific consensus now is that it's a deeply eroded dome, an uplifted geological structure, like a giant blister on the Earth's crust that just happened to erode in these stunning, circular patterns. It's called a domal percline or an eroded geological uplift. Sounds a bit boring, right? But then you look at it again and you think, asterisk really? Asterisk that perfect. Those concentric circles. It's almost too neat to be just, rocks doing their thing. And that's where the what if creeps in. Because if it's asterisk not asterisk a natural formation, then what in the name of all that's dusty is it? This is where the internet conspiracy theories, the ancient astronaut enthusiasts, and the folks who believe in secret government bunkers full of alien tech asterisk really asterisk get excited. They look at the Richet structure, sometimes affectionately nicknamed the Eye of the Sahara, and they don't see a geological curiosity. They see a colossal, ancient, perhaps alien, base, or a landing pad, or a power generator, or the ruins of Atlantis, misplaced by a few thousand miles and submerged by sand instead of water. Hey, Platonic philosophy meets extreme geology. Why not? The idea that the Richet structure could be a relic of some truly ancient, advanced civilization, human or otherwise, is incredibly seductive. Imagine a structure built on a scale that dwarfs the pyramids, designed for purposes we can't even begin to fathom. Could it be a colossal astronomical observatory, aligning with specific stars or constellations from an epoch long forgotten? Could it be a giant energy collector, tapping into geological forces in a way we haven't rediscovered? Or maybe, just maybe, it was a landing beacon for something that came from far beyond our blue marble, long before our ancestors even figured out how to make fire reliably. Of course, mainstream science gently, but firmly, pushes back on these more exotic theories. It's geology, they say, just very, very interesting geology, and they have good points. Erosion over millions of years can do incredible, artistic things, but that doesn't stop the whispers, does it? Especially when you consider how many ancient cultures across the globe have myths and legends about sky people or gods descending from the heavens. Is it just coincidence that some of the oldest rock art in the Sahara depicts figures that look suspiciously like helmeted beings or strange, non-human entities? Probably, but fun to think about, right? And the Richet structure isn't the only enigma. The Sahara, in its quiet, vast indifference, seems to invite speculation. There are accounts, often dismissed as folklore or mirages, of strange lights observed in remote areas. Lights that move with impossible speed or hover silently, sometimes described as fireballs or desert lanterns. These phenomena have fueled local legends of jinn, powerful, supernatural beings of Arabian and Islamic lore, said to inhabit desolate places and possess incredible powers. Are they just heat-induced optical illusions? Ball lightning? Or is there something else, something truly inexplicable, flitting across the ancient sands? Perhaps tied to whatever immense energies are still slumbering beneath that eye of the Sahara. Then there's the case of the incredibly advanced knowledge displayed at sites that shouldn't, by all accounts, exist. Take Nabta Playa, for example. We mentioned it briefly before, but it bears repeating because it's weird. Tucked away in the Egyptian Sahara, this was once the site of a vast ancient lake during the African humid period. And here, around 7,000 years ago, thousands of years before the first pyramids were built in Egypt, a nomadic, cattle-herding people built what many archaeologists consider to be the world's first astronomical calendar. Imagine a stone circle, roughly 4.5 meters in diameter, with megalithic alignments pointing to the summer solstice. They had placed stones in specific patterns that aligned with the rising of certain stars, like Sirius, which was incredibly important in later Egyptian cosmology. They even had a cow burial site where cattle were interred in stone-lined chambers, pointing to complex rituals and reverence for their animals, far beyond simple sustenance. This wasn't some isolated, accidental arrangement of rocks. This was deliberate, sophisticated astronomical observation and engineering, built by people we usually think of as relatively simple hunter-gatherers. How did these early desert dwellers, millennia before written language or advanced mathematics, possess such precise astronomical knowledge? Did they figure it out through generations of patient observation? Or did they have some kind of assistance? Was there a deeper, forgotten lineage of knowledge, a Rosetta Stone of celestial wisdom lost to the sands? Scholars debate whether it truly qualifies as an astronomical observatory or simply a ritual site with directional alignments. But even the latter implies an incredible understanding of their environment and the passage of time. It pushes the envelope of what we thought early humans were capable of, nudging us closer to that what-if territory. It's almost as if the desert, in its vastness and isolation, provided a perfect laboratory for observation, a clear, unpolluted sky acting as a silent teacher. Or perhaps, as some more adventurous theorists posit, it was a meeting point, a place where knowledge flowed from unexpected sources. Think about it. During the Green Sahara period, it was a melting pot of cultures. Could some profound, ancient wisdom have been shared, passed down, then lost as the desert swallowed its cradle? And what about the sheer volume of unexplained objects? Not just meteorites, which are fantastic in their own right, but other strange finds, fragments of unusual metals, unidentifiable carved stones, bits of what look like advanced ceramics that don't fit into known archaeological periods. These are often dismissed as anomalies, natural formations, or modern debris, and sometimes they are. But the desert keeps coughing them up, one by one, a steady drip of the uncanny. The truth is, much of the Sahara remains unexplored, even with our modern tech. Satellite imagery can show us the broad strokes, the ancient riverbeds, the outlines of lost cities. But it can't tell us what's buried deep beneath 100 feet of sand or hidden within a remote, inaccessible cave system. There are vast regions where no archaeologist has ever set foot, where the only visitors are the wind and the occasional, incredibly resilient nomad. And the Tuareg, the nomadic blue men of the desert, have their own stories passed down over countless generations around crackling campfires under impossibly starry skies. They speak of places that are forbidden, where the very air shimmers with an unknown energy. They tell of ancient, half-buried structures that hum with a faint vibration. They whisper of encounters with beings that are not quite human, figures seen only at the edge of consciousness, guardians of secrets best left undisturbed. Are these just the fevered dreams of solitude, born of the desert's hallucinatory power? Or are they echoes of something real, something that transcends our neatly categorized understanding of history and science? Perhaps the Sahara precisely because it is so extreme, so isolated, has acted as a kind of cosmic preserving jar, keeping not just physical remnants, but echoes of events, energies, or even intelligences that have long since faded from the more populated parts of the world. It's a place where time itself seems to thin, where the past can feel terrifyingly present. The same dry conditions that preserve a 7,000-year-old mummy might also preserve, say, an energy signature or a remnant of a technology that seems impossible. Imagine standing on a vast, flat expanse of desert, miles from any living soul. The silence is absolute, broken only by the gentle sifting of sand. The stars overhead are so numerous and bright they seem to hum. And then you feel it, a faint tremor in the ground, a subtle distortion in the air, a whisper that isn't wind. Is it your imagination playing tricks? Dehydration? Or is it the desert, ever so slowly, revealing a truth too immense, too ancient, to be contained by our current understanding? The Sahara reminds us that human history, as we understand it, is but a fleeting moment. Before us, before the Garamontas, before the Green Sahara, before even the Assyrian toolmakers, there was time. Vast, unimaginable stretches of time during which anything, absolutely anything, could have transpired. And the desert, through its relentless cycle of burial and revelation, hints that perhaps our current narrative of the past is incomplete, missing entire chapters that are just waiting to be excavated, not just with shovels, but with open minds. So, as you drift deeper into sleep, let these thoughts percolate. The Sahara isn't just sand and heat. It's a living, breathing archive of cosmic and terrestrial secrets. It is a place where the veil between the known and the unknown feels thinner than anywhere else. The next time you see a picture of that vast, empty expanse, don't just see desolation. See possibility. See the eye of the Sahara gazing back at you from space, hinting at mysteries that stretch beyond human comprehension. See the faint, ghost outlines of structures too vast to be human, too perfect to be natural. And hear the whispers on the wind, telling tales not just of lost civilizations, but of lost realities. Because the desert, my friends, is still holding back its biggest reveals. waiting for the perfect moment to shake our very foundations. And believe me, there's even more asterisk to unpack in those shifting sands. Something that ties it all together, something utterly epic. But for tonight, let's leave it there. Sleep well, and dream of the mysteries that lie just beyond the edge of our perception. And believe me, there's even more asterisk to unpack in those shifting sands. Something that ties it all together, something utterly epic. Because the Sahara isn't just a collection of cool finds or a cosmic bulletin board. It's a grand theatrical backdrop upon which a story has played out not once, but repeatedly, a drama of rise, fall, and vanishing acts, all dictated by the whims of a wobbling planet and the relentless march of time. And the something epic that ties it all together is the growing unsettling suspicion among some, a whisper among the dunes, that maybe, just maybe, what we rave finding in the Sahara isn't just the scattered remnants of many ancient civilizations, but rather the recurring echoes of one foundational, incredibly advanced civilization that simply refuses to stay buried. You're probably thinking, oh, here we go, another Atlantis theory. And you wouldn't be entirely wrong to think that. The concept of a lost, highly advanced civilization, wiped clean from the slate of history, is deeply ingrained in human mythologies, from Plato's Atlantis to the Indian legends of Dwarka. But what if the Sahara, this land of extremes, this paradoxical former Eden, is where we should be looking? What if the Atlantis wasn't swallowed by the sea, but by a slowly encroaching, infinitely patient ocean of sand? Think back to the rigid structure, that colossal eye of the Sahara, perfectly circular, 50 kilometers wide. Mainstream science calls it a geological dome, a perfectly reasonable explanation. But then you remember those concentric rings, the sheer, almost impossible regularity, and you wonder, could such precision be entirely coincidental? And what if, instead of being a mere dome, it was a central hub, a power generator, a gargantuan, multi-purpose facility designed by a civilization with a grasp of geology, astronomy, and engineering that we're only just beginning to comprehend, even with our modern tech? Imagine a highly advanced society thriving during the peak of the African humid period. Not just hunter-gatherers, not just early farmers, but people who understood mathematics, who mapped the stars, who harnessed energy in ways we can only speculate about. Perhaps they developed a system to manage the Saharan climate, or at least predict its monumental shifts with incredible accuracy. The rigid structure then might not be a natural feature at all, but the ghost of a vast circular city or a gargantuan piece of engineering. Like a sprawling desert-based CERN or a colossal hydroelectric dam from an age before dams. The concentric rings could be different districts, different functions, different layers of a complex societal structure, now stripped bare by millions of years of wind and sand, leaving only the hardened, erosion-resistant bones of its original design. It's a truly wild thought, a real put down your herbal tea and listen up kind of theory. And if this Saharan Atlantis existed, where did its people go when the rain stopped? The most obvious answer is that they, like others, migrated to the Nile Valley, bringing with them not just their numbers, but their advanced knowledge. Perhaps they were the unseen architects, the cultural accelerants, who helped kickstart the explosion of early Egyptian civilization. The sudden appearance of highly sophisticated astronomical knowledge at places like Nabta Playa thousands of years before the accepted timeline for such understanding starts to look less like an isolated anomaly and more like a lingering echo, a distant memory of a much grander scientific tradition. Imagine those early megalithic circles at Nabta Playa weren't just the first calendar, but asterisk rediscovery asterisk or asterisk reapplication asterisk of knowledge inherited from a far older, forgotten source. This isn't about little green men, necessarily, though the ancient astronaut crowd certainly loves this kind of speculation. It's about a radical re-evaluation of human potential in deep history. What if periods of environmental abundance allowed for leaps in civilization far beyond what we conventionally believe? And what if the dramatic, often catastrophic, shifts, like the Sahara's desiccation, acted as a reset button, wiping the slate clean, leaving only scattered, enigmatic clues for future generations to puzzle over? The Garamontes, those ingenious tunnel diggers, could be seen in this light too. Their foggerous systems were incredibly advanced for their time, tapping into fossil aquifers. But what if they weren't inventing from scratch, but rather rediscovering or adapting ancient techniques, passed down through millennia of oral tradition or found in forgotten ruins? The knowledge to extract water on such a scale, to sustain agriculture in a rapidly drying land, hints at a profound understanding of hydrogeology that feels almost anachronistic for 500 BCE. Perhaps it was a faint echo of the Sahara Atlantis water management systems, a pale imitation of a lost mastery. The desert, you see, is a master of selective preservation. It doesn't keep everything. It keeps what it wants, what resists decay, what the elements choose to strip bare. Hardened stone, desiccated organic matter, and, intriguingly, stories etched into the collective human consciousness. The myths of hidden cities of gold, of places that appear and disappear with the shifting sands. Are these just heat-induced mirages or racial memories, fragments of an actual physical past that occasionally breaks through the veil of time and sand? Consider the cyclical nature of the Sahara itself. It wasn't just green once. Geological evidence suggests that the Sahara has flipped between lush savanna and arid desert many times over millions of years, driven by those grand Milankovitch cycles. Each time it becomes green, it invites life, including human life, to flourish. Each time it dries out, it presents an existential challenge. What if each green period offered an opportunity for advanced societies to emerge, only to be buried by the next arid phase? We've only just begun to scratch the surface of one such green period. How many more lost civilizations, how many more Sahara Atlantises lie beneath those vast, silent dunes, each waiting for its own moment to be partially revealed? This idea of a recurring Saharan civilization that rises and falls with the climate would explain so much. It would explain the seemingly disconnected pockets of advanced knowledge. It would explain why certain astronomical observations pop up in unexpected places. It would explain the sheer scale of some of the structures, like the desert kites, which imply a level of organized labor and strategic planning that feels out of place for scattered hunter-gatherer groups. Maybe they were just the latest iteration of a recurring pattern of organized society, a diluted echo of grander, more coordinated efforts from a prior cycle. The Sahara then isn't just a graveyard. It's a multi-layered historical archive, a geological palimpsest, where each layer tells a story of extraordinary human, or perhaps something more asterisk than human, ingenuity wiped clean and rewritten with the next climatic shift. Each green phase a boom, each arid phase a bust, a brutal sieve for innovation and adaptation. Only the toughest, the most ingenious, or the most well-preserved remnants survive the transition. And if this grand theory holds a grain of truth, what does it mean for us? It means our understanding of civilization might be far too narrow, too linear. It suggests that bursts of highly advanced knowledge might be recurrent, not just a one-off trajectory from cave to smartphone. It means we might be standing on the shoulders of giants whose very existence we're only now beginning to suspect. Giants who battled climate change on a scale we can barely imagine. The very scale of the Sahara, the unforgiving nature of its present, is what makes it such a perfect, if frustrating, preserver of secrets. Imagine the sheer quantity of sand. It's a blanket, thick and insulating, protecting what lies beneath from the ravages of time, air, and moisture. But it's also a blindfold, hiding entire worlds from our eyes. You can fly over it, scan it with radar, but until you get boots on the ground, until a major sandstorm or a seismic event reveals a new clue, it remains stubbornly silent. And what about the deep geological time represented here? We're talking millions of years, layers upon layers of ancient seabeds, dinosaur bones, and then, much later, the fragile remnants of humanity. Perhaps the epic reveal isn't just about a lost human civilization, but about an even deeper, more profound connection between intelligence and planetary cycles. Could the Sahara, through its relentless cycles, have fostered a unique kind of long-term intelligence? A wisdom tied to understanding the deep rhythms of Earth? So, you lie there, trying to picture it. The eye of the Sahara, not just a geological formation, but the heart of a vast, forgotten civilization. The Green Plains, not just populated by animals, but by cities, towers, and structures that rivaled, perhaps even surpassed, anything we built until very recently. The migrations to the Nile, not just a desperate flight, but a purposeful relocation of knowledge. A desperate attempt to salvage what could be saved from the encroaching desert. It's a narrative that makes you feel incredibly small, and yet incredibly connected to a grander, more mysterious past. The Sahara, in its silence, is roaring with stories. Stories of humans pushing the boundaries of survival and innovation. Stories of cosmic impacts that shaped landscapes and created strange, beautiful glass. And perhaps, just perhaps, stories of a foundational civilization, a Saharan Atlantis, patiently waiting beneath the sand for its next ray awakening. Or at least for us to finally put all the scattered pieces together. The winds of the Sahara continue their ceaseless work, sculpting dunes, erasing footprints, and occasionally, with a sigh, revealing something utterly breathtaking. The desert watches, it waits. It has seen empires rise and fall, great lakes vanish, and entire ways of life disappear. It holds its breath for centuries, then exhales a new secret. And there are still so many more layers to peel back, so many more whispers to hear, so many more enigmas that haven't even begun to surface. You can almost feel the weight of all that untold history pressing down. A vast, sandy blanket of secrets, just waiting for the next gust of wind, the next shift in the earth, the next curious mind to uncover them. This ancient land has plenty more to tell us, plenty more to challenge, plenty more to inspire all. But that, my friends, is a journey for another evening, when the Sahara decides to show us its next, even more astonishing, hand. For now, let the thought of a cyclical history, of hidden Atlantises, and the patient desert itself cradle you into the realm of dreams. You can almost feel the weight of all that untold history pressing down. A vast, sandy blanket of secrets, just waiting for the next gust of wind, the next shift in the earth, the next curious mind to uncover them. This ancient land has plenty more to tell us, plenty more to challenge, plenty more to inspire all. But that, my friends, is a journey for another evening, when the Sahara decides to show us its next, even more astonishing, hand. For now, let the thought of a cyclical history, of hidden Atlantises, and the patient desert itself cradle you into the realm of dreams. But hold on a second. Don't drift off entirely just yet. Because that astonishing hand the Sahara might play, it's not just another archaeological dig or a cool geological formation. It's the grand finale, the unexpected twist, the kind of secret that doesn't just add a chapter to history, but rewrites the entire book. We're talking about the whispers, persistent, tantalizing whispers among the very few who dare to truly delve into the Sahara's deepest mysteries of a vast, intelligent, almost inconceivably ancient network of structures, perhaps even a asterisk system asterisk, buried so deep, so thoroughly hidden, that it implies not just a lost civilization, but a lost asterisk age asterisk. Imagine, if you will, that the Richet structure, that eye of the Sahara, isn't just an eroded dome, nor just a single, enormous city. What if it's merely the asterisk visible asterisk tip of an absolutely colossal iceberg? What if it's the central nexus, the power hub, or the primary control center for a sprawling, interconnected grid that once spanned the entire Green Sahara? A network of conduits, subterranean cities, colossal machines, perhaps even climatological regulators, all designed to harness the energy of the Earth, the Sun, and the very atmosphere. Sounds like science fiction, right? Like something ripped from a dusty, forgotten pulp novel found in a desert outpost. But the desert, remember, has a way of blurring the lines between myth and reality. Think about it. During those long millennia of the African humid period, when the Sahara was a vibrant, teeming landscape, what truly asterisk advanced asterisk civilizations might have risen? Not just communities of hunters and gatherers, nor even the impressive Garamontes who were struggling asterisk against asterisk the drying. We're talking about a civilization that flourished asterisk because asterisk of the abundance, and perhaps even asterisk managed asterisk that abundance, prolonging it, optimizing it. Perhaps this ancient Saharan super-civilization didn't just understand the Milankovitch cycles. Maybe they had the technology to mitigate their effects, to push back against the inevitable desiccation, at least for a time. Perhaps their desert kites were not merely hunting traps, but part of a much larger, more sophisticated animal management system designed to sustainably feed a truly vast population. And those enormous, ancient rivers that radar reveals beneath the sand, what if some of them weren't entirely natural, but were intelligently engineered waterways? Canals on a scale that dwarfs anything we've built until very recently. We marvel at the Romans' aqueducts, but what if something similar, on a continental scale, existed in the Sahara, powered by an understanding of hydrodynamics that beggars belief? The evidence for such a grand theory is, of course, circumstantial, fragmentary, and often dismissed as pareidolia or wishful thinking. But it's the patterned asterisk of anomalies that starts to become compelling. It's not just *1 strange structure, or *1 inexplicable astronomical alignment, or *1 incredibly sophisticated water system. It's the way they all seem to hint at a connected, grander design. Like finding scattered pieces of a magnificent, complex machine without the manual, and only just beginning to grasp its purpose. Consider the sheer amount of energy that would have been required to sustain such a civilization, especially as the climate began to turn. They couldn't have just relied on wood or animal dung. What if they had discovered ways to tap into geothermal energy, or harness the sun's power with technologies far beyond our current solar panels? Perhaps the eye of the Sahara was a massive, ancient energy collector, a gargantuan lens focusing the sun's rays, or a gigantic antenna drawing power from the ionosphere, beaming it across their vast dominion. This is where the old Tuareg legends of fire from the sky or light that hums from the earth start to take on a chilling new dimension. And where did all this advanced knowledge go when the Sahara finally turned definitively into a desert? When even the most ingenious technology couldn't hold back the tide of sand? What happened to the people who built this astonishing civilization? Did they simply migrate, taking their knowledge with them to the Nile, becoming the legendary wise ones or gods who helped spark Egyptian civilization? Or did some of them go deeper underground, retreating into vast, self-sustaining subterranean complexes, perhaps even connecting to the planet's internal energy systems, waiting for the next green cycle to re-emerge? The idea of vast, hidden underground cities isn't new to folklore, but in the Sahara, it gains an unsettling plausibility. The dry, stable conditions are perfect for preserving such structures, and the deep fossil aquifers they accessed for water could have provided a lifeline for a population retreating from the surface. Imagine finding an entrance, perfectly concealed by millennia of shifting sand, leading down into a cool, air-filtered labyrinth of tunnels, chambers, and possibly even automated systems, still humming with a faint, ancient power. That is the kind of thing that sends shivers down your spine and makes you want to pack a backpack with a flashlight and a very good lawyer. Archaeological science, of course, prefers concrete evidence. And for a civilization of this scale to exist, there should be more evidence. But perhaps we're looking for the wrong kind of evidence, or in the wrong places. If a civilization was built to withstand continental shifts, to manage climate, to use energy in ways we don't fully grasp, their remnants might not look like typical ruins. They might be vast, geological scale structures indistinguishable from natural formations to an untrained eye, or buried under layers of sand and rock so deep that only the most advanced ground-penetrating radar or sheer geological upheaval could reveal them. And this leads us back to the Sahara's own dynamic nature. It's not static. Massive sandstorms can peel back layers of time in a single day, exposing something that hasn't seen the sun in thousands of years. But just as quickly, the sand returns, swallowing the secret whole again. It is a tantalizing game of hide-and-seek played by a desert that seems to have an agenda of its own. It's almost as if the Sahara, in its infinite patience, is drip-feeding us clues, waiting for humanity to reach a certain level of technological sophistication and open-mindedness before revealing its grandest truth. Think of the sheer logistics of discovering something so vast. It would require international cooperation on an unprecedented scale, an army of scientists, engineers, and archaeologists working in some of the most remote and hostile environments on Earth. And the funding? Forget about it. But what if one day a truly anomalous energy signature is detected from space, or a massive, inexplicable tremor suggests something artificial deep beneath the dunes? The scientific world would have no choice but to listen. Perhaps the jinn of Tuareg lore, those powerful, ethereal beings said to inhabit the desert, are not just spirits, but the lingering guardians of this forgotten civilization. Maybe they are the descendants, or even the programmed automatons, tasked with protecting the remnants of a world that was too advanced, too powerful, to fall completely into oblivion. The stories of lights, of hums, of places that cause irrational fear or inexplicable clarity. Could these be faint echoes of ancient systems still operational, or residual energy fields emanating from deep within? It certainly makes for a more exciting bedtime story than just it was rocks. The Sahara, in its vast, silent expanse, truly challenges our neatly organized timelines of human history. It asks us to consider that perhaps our known past is just a small, relatively recent ripple in a much deeper, more complex ocean of time and civilization. It pushes us to imagine humanity not as a species slowly, linearly progressing from caves to cosmology, but as one that might have experienced extraordinary leaps, followed by catastrophic resets. Perhaps many times over, driven by the very planet we inhabit. The idea of a recurring Saharan Atlantis, rising during the green periods, falling during the arid ones, and leaving behind increasingly enigmatic clues with each cycle, gives a chillingly beautiful coherence to all the scattered pieces. The rock art, the fossil rivers, the Garamontes' ingenious systems, the astronomical precision of Nabta Playa, the strange glass, the desert kites, and especially the monumental eye of the Sahara. They could all be part of a single epic narrative, a grand cyclical saga of a civilization that understood perhaps too well the deep rhythms of the earth. As the desert winds continue their mournful, ancient song, sweeping across the dunes, consider that underneath that vast, golden blanket, entire chapters of existence might still be preserved, waiting for the right eye to see the patterns, the right mind to connect the dots, and perhaps the right moment in time for the desert to finally fully reveal its most profound truth. This isn't just about finding another lost city. This is about finding a lost ***. And trust me, when we finally peel back that last, dusty layer, the story of the Sahara won't just be an adventure into the past. It will be a prophecy for the future. But that, my friends, is a story that requires even deeper dreams and perhaps a few more millennia of the Sahara's patient secrets. Okay, so you've heard the whispers, felt the pull of the great, sandy unknown. You're picturing the eye of the Sahara, not just as a geological fluke, but as the pulsating heart of a lost super-civilization. You're contemplating a cyclical history, where empires rise and fall with the planet's wobble, buried and resurrected by the desert's whim. And now, you're wondering, what more asterisk could possibly be hiding in that vast, sun-drenched expanse? What's the next level of astonishing? Well, if we dare to chase those deeper dreams, to lean into the truly mind-bending possibilities, we start to imagine a civilization that wasn't just advanced for its time, but perhaps, in some ways, beyond our own. Think about it. If they could build structures like the Richard I for purposes we can barely grasp, if they could orchestrate continental-scale water management, and if they could track celestial bodies with astonishing precision millennia before us, what else were they capable of? Picture a society that understood the very fabric of existence, not just intellectually, but practically. Perhaps they didn't just harness the sun's energy, but the Earth's magnetic fields, or even the subtle energies of the cosmos. Imagine colossal, humming generators buried deep beneath the Richard structure, tapping into planetary currents, powering a sprawling network that could illuminate cities at night, purify vast amounts of water, and even, dare we say it, influence localized weather patterns. We're talking about technologies that sound like magic to us, but were, perhaps, just advanced physics to them. What if the reason we find so few obvious remnants of this Saharan Atlantis isn't just because they were buried, but because their technology was designed to be either self-disassembling, hyper-efficient, leaving little waste, or made of materials we simply don't recognize or understand? Imagine structures made of some kind of smart matter, capable of altering its density or resilience, built to withstand millennia of environmental shifts, only to subtly change form or even vaporize when its operational lifespan ended. We stumble upon fragments of anomalous metals, unidentifiable alloys that defy our current metallurgical understanding. Are these just geological quirks, or discarded components of devices from an age beyond our wildest imaginings? Perhaps a subtle hum, a faint energy signature that our instruments currently register as background noise, is actually the last dying breath of an ancient, continental-scale power grid. And consider the life they lived. If they truly commanded their environment, rather than just adapted to it, their society would have been one of unprecedented abundance and leisure. No constant struggle for water, no fear of starvation. This level of security could have freed up intellectual capital on a scale we can barely fathom, allowing them to focus on philosophy, art, science, and perhaps even forms of consciousness we're only just beginning to dabble in. Imagine a golden age, a Saharan utopia, thriving for thousands of years, pushing the boundaries of what it means to be sentient. Their art might not just be pretty pictures on cave walls, but intricate, multi-layered expressions of complex mathematical equations or cosmological maps. Their music might incorporate frequencies that resonate with the Earth itself. But like all things, even utopias have their limits. The Milankovitch cycles, remember, are cosmic forces, vast and inexorable. Even the most advanced technology can only push back against a planetary shift for so long. Perhaps the prophecy of the Sahara is precisely this, a grim warning that even extraordinary technological prowess might ultimately be subservient to the grand, indifferent movements of the universe. What would it be like to witness the slow, agonizing demise of such a magnificent civilization? To know that despite all your mastery, the sand asterisk would asterisk come, the waters asterisk would asterisk recede, and the lush green world asterisk would asterisk inevitably turn to dust? This leads us to the heart of the Sahara's prophecy for the future. We, too, face immense environmental changes. We, too, are grappling with the limits of our technology versus the planet's vast power. The story of the Green Sahara's demise and the potential story of this Saharan super-civilization's ultimate fate becomes a mirror reflecting our own modern anxieties. Did they, at the very end, make a desperate choice? Did they attempt a last-ditch, catastrophic terraforming effort that failed spectacularly, perhaps leaving behind some of those strange, energetic anomalies we occasionally hear about? Or did they, with a deep understanding of their planet's cycles, simply accept the inevitable and make plans for the next great greening? This is where the idea of the seeds of knowledge comes in. If this civilization truly understood the cycles, they would know the Sahara would become green again, eventually. So, perhaps their final act wasn't a panicked exodus, but a deliberate, long-term plan. They didn't just migrate to the Nile. They seeded the Nile Valley with their knowledge, their genetics, their most profound understandings, ensuring that the flame of civilization wouldn't die out entirely, but would simply be transplanted, nurtured, and allowed to re-emerge in a new form. This would explain the sudden, astonishing flowering of early Egyptian civilization, which seems to spring almost fully formed from the desert, without the long, gradual developmental period we'd expect. Was it a natural evolution, or a carefully orchestrated handover? And what if they didn't just plant seeds in the Nile Valley, but also in the very desert itself? What if those hidden depths aren't just ruins, but vast sealed time capsules? Immense vaults filled with their accumulated knowledge, their technology, their history, waiting for the next green cycle, or for humanity to reach a certain level of intellectual maturity to rediscover it. Imagine entire libraries of data, not on papyrus, but etched into crystals or stored in some form of quantum memory, preserved in subterranean bunkers, designed to reactivate when conditions are right. This would be the ultimate patient secret, a message in a bottle sent across millennia. Of course, the Sahara doesn't just hand out blueprints for cosmic energy grids or ancient time capsules. Its defenses are formidable. The sheer scale of it is enough to deter casual exploration. Try spending a week out there without proper gear. You'd become just another part of the arid landscape, your nutrients enriching the sand for the next millennia. Its vastness acts as a natural security system, a gargantuan, dehydrating firewall. The blinding sun, the merciless heat, the sudden, disorienting sandstorms that can swallow entire expeditions in moments. These are not just environmental conditions, but the desert's active, relentless guardians. It's almost as if the desert itself is sentient, protecting its most profound truths until the time is right. And even with our modern technology, the satellites, the drones, the ground-penetrating radar, we are still just scratching the surface. These tools give us tantalizing glimpses, like seeing the faint outline of a giant hand buried under a mountain. But without being able to feel the texture of its skin or count its fingernails. Radar can show anomalies, but it can't tell us what they asterisk are asterisk. It can map a perfect circle, but it can't tell us its function. It can hint at subterranean networks, but it can't open the doors. We need to go asterisk in asterisk. And in the Sahara is a whole different ballgame. Think of the sheer difficulty of mounting an archaeological expedition for something that might be hundreds of meters beneath the surface, spanning thousands of square kilometers. The logistics alone would be a nightmare. Water, food, fuel, specialized equipment, medical support, security in some of the most remote and politically unstable regions on Earth. It would make building the pyramids look like a picnic. This isn't just a dig. It's a military operation, a scientific crusade. And who would fund such a venture based on whispers and patterns of anomalies? It would take a revelation so undeniable, so utterly shattering to our current understanding of history, that the world would have no choice but to pour resources into it. Perhaps that revelation won't come from a deliberate dig, but from the desert itself. A cataclysmic sandstorm of unprecedented scale, stripping away not just meters, but tens or even hundreds of meters of sand in a localized area, revealing something so perfectly preserved, so overtly artificial, that there could be no denying it. Or a deep seismic event, shaking the very foundations of the Earth, cracking open a long-sealed underground chamber, revealing not just ruins, but something active. Something still humming, still alive. And then, what? What would we do if we found undeniable proof of a Saharan super-civilization? A truly ancient lost age that possessed technologies and understandings far beyond our own? Would it be a moment of profound revelation, uniting humanity in awe of its own deeper potential? Or would it trigger a new kind of global scramble? A technological gold rush for secrets that could reshape our world, for better or for worse? The knowledge of how to harness planetary energies, how to influence climate, how to build self-sustaining ecosystems. These aren't just academic curiosities. They are the keys to immense power. Power that could be used to solve our most pressing problems, or to unleash unprecedented destruction. The Sahara's secrets, then, aren't just historical, they're existential. The very notion challenges our comfortable linearity of progress. We like to think of ourselves as the pinnacle, the most advanced, at the top of the evolutionary ladder. But what if we're just one iteration in a grand, cyclical play? What if, thousands or millions of years from now, our own cities, our own technologies, lie buried beneath shifting sands or rising seas? Just another forgotten chapter in a planet's long, patient history? The Sahara stands as a silent, brooding monument to this possibility. A geological memento mori for civilizations, But there's also a profound hope in this idea. If a civilization could rise to such heights, only to fall and be buried, perhaps its lessons are there for us to learn. The Sahara, in its relentless cycle of creation and destruction, might be offering us a blueprint for resilience, a warning about hubris, and an invitation to think on scales of time and possibility, far grander than our fleeting human lifespans. It prompts us to look beyond the immediate horizon, to consider the deep past not as a finished story, but as a living, breathing guide to the challenges we face today. The winds never truly stop in the Sahara. They ceaselessly work, carving, sculpting, uncovering, and covering again. They are the desert's tireless archivists, burying and revealing secrets with a patience that transcends human comprehension. And every now and then, a stronger gust, a subtle shift, a rare alignment, lifts just enough of the sandy veil to reveal something that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. A glint of something anomalous, a perfect geometric line that couldn't possibly be natural. A faint echo of a hum carried on the hot, dry air. The desert continues to breathe its slow, ancient breath, holding its most profound truths close. It knows what lies beneath, the extent of the lost age, the full implication of its prophecy. And it waits. It waits for us to develop the technology, but perhaps more importantly, the wisdom and humility to truly understand what it's trying to tell us. It's a vast, sandy university, offering lessons on geology, climate, human ingenuity, and the rise and fall of empires, all without ever uttering a single spoken word. Its lessons are etched in stone, whispered on the wind, and buried deep beneath the dunes, waiting for the curious, the brave, the open-minded to decipher them. And there are even deeper layers to this enigma, things that touch upon the very nature of consciousness and connection. What if the eye of the Sahara isn't just a physical structure, but also a kind of resonance chamber, a giant, ancient antenna? What if it was designed not just to harness physical energies, but to connect with something else? Something beyond our current understanding of physics. Perhaps even a form of collective consciousness or a network of intelligences that transcends the purely physical? This is where the legends of Jinn and other desert entities start to get really interesting. Moving beyond folklore into the realm of speculative science. What if the hum that some explorers report the feeling of presence in certain desolate areas isn't just imagination or heat stroke, but a residual energetic imprint? A faint echo of that super civilization's advanced communications, or even a form of ancient AI, still running on limited power waiting for a trigger? It's the kind of thought that keeps you awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering about the universe. The Sahara, in its infinite silence, seems to be mocking our modern hubris, knowing full well that our proud technological achievements are but a blink in its eternal eye. The desert is a test. It tests human endurance, human ingenuity, and human open-mindedness. It challenges our assumptions about what is possible, what is natural, and what is truly ancient. It forces us to confront the humbling reality that we may not be the first, or the most advanced, or the most knowledgeable civilization to grace this planet. And that, my friends, is perhaps its most profound secret, a lesson in humility, delivered across millennia by an ocean of sand. But even that isn't the absolute last word from the Sahara. There's one more, even more unsettling possibility that ties all these threads together into a knot that might just unravel your sense of reality. You see, the Sahara doesn't just bury secrets. Sometimes it absorbs them. And what it absorbs, it sometimes keeps. But that, my friends, is a chillingly intimate secret. A story about the desert becoming more than just a stage, more than just an archive. It's a story for another night, when the sun dips below the horizon and the stars wheel overhead, hinting at secrets too vast for daylight. But that, my friends, is a chillingly intimate secret. A story about the desert becoming more than just a stage, more than just an archive. It's a story for another night, when the sun dips below the horizon and the stars wheel overhead, hinting at secrets too vast for daylight. Except tonight, the stars are wheeling overhead, aren't they? And the sun has long since sunk beneath the impossibly flat horizon, leaving behind only the faintest blush of violet and deep indigo. The desert at night is a different beast altogether. The brutal heat softens, giving way to a cool, dry embrace. The wind, which during the day whipped up stinging grit, now whispers with a gentle, hypnotic cadence, sighing over the dunes. And the silence, oh, the silence is profound. It's so vast, so complete, that you can almost hear the faint hum of the cosmos, the slow, ancient breath of the earth beneath your feet. And it's in this profound quiet, under a sky so densely packed with stars it looks like spilled glitter on black velvet, that the Sahara reveals its most intimate truth. It's not just that the desert buries secrets. No. The real secret, the truly unsettling and yet strangely comforting one, is that the Sahara absorbs them. It doesn't just cover and preserve, it integrates. It remembers. Imagine every grain of sand, every pebble, every molecule of air as a tiny, infinitesimal memory chip. Over millions of years, as life flourished and faded, as civilizations rose and fell, as meteors streaked across the sky and slammed into the earth, the desert was there. It was the witness. And as things decayed, as structures crumbled, as life returned to dust, their essence, their energy, their very story wasn't lost to the void. It was simply absorbed, sunk into the vast, dry, porous body of the desert itself. The Sahara isn't just a landscape. It's a living, breathing, incredibly slow-moving consciousness. A colossal, ancient mind that holds the collective memory of everything that has ever been, everything that has ever transpired upon its vast, shifting surface. The faint hums explorers sometimes report the inexplicable feelings of presence in utterly desolate regions, these sudden fleeting visions that some claim to experience. Are these merely the effects of heat and solitude? Or are they the desert's own subtle emanations? The quiet reverberations of millennia of absorbed history, brushing against the edges of human perception? Think about the green Sahara, that lush, vibrant Eden. Its memory isn't gone. It's within the desert. When you stand on a dune today, the desert remembers the hippos that wallowed there, the elephants that grazed, the people who fished and sang by ancient rivers. It remembers the taste of rain, the feel of soft earth underfoot. This isn't just a nostalgic memory. It's a deep, intrinsic part of the desert's being. It dreams of being green again, a recurring dream etched into its very geological core, waiting for the next Milankovitch cycle to bring the monsoons back home. And those lost civilizations, the Garamontes with their ingenious underground cities, or that hypothetical Saharan Atlantis we dared to imagine at the Richet structure, their ingenuity, their suffering, their triumphs, and their ultimate vanishing act. None of it was truly lost. The Sahara absorbed it all. The knowledge of those colossal engineering feats, the secrets of harnessing planetary energies, the wisdom of predicting celestial shifts, it's all still there, not in decaying scrolls or crumbling hard drives, but woven into the very fabric of the sand, preserved in a way no human archive ever could be. The lie of the Sahara, then, if it truly is more than a mere geological dome, could be seen as a focal point, a giant, circular lens for this collective memory. Perhaps it's not just a physical structure, but a kind of vast planetary antenna, designed by an ancient consciousness, or perhaps designed asterisk, to interact with asterisk the desert's consciousness, to absorb, process, and perhaps even broadcast the vast energies and information cycles of the planet. Imagine it silently drawing in the echoes of cosmic impacts, the wisdom of lost ages, the very essence of vanished life, holding it all within its concentric rings like ripples in a calm, profound pool. This is why the desert guards its secrets so fiercely. It's not malicious, it's protective. It's holding on to the vast library of its past, waiting for the moment when humanity is ready, not just technologically, but spiritually, to truly comprehend what it has to say. The scorching winds, the blinding sandstorms, the immense waterless distances aren't just natural phenomena. They are the desert's timeless defenses, ensuring that only the most dedicated, the most humble, and the most open-minded are granted. Even the faintest glimpse into its deepest truths, and the chilling intimacy of it all, it means that when you are truly asterisk in asterisk the Sahara, not just flying over it, but sitting silently under its impossibly bright stars, feeling the cool sand against your skin, breathing its ancient, dry air, you are not just a visitor. You are momentarily connected to this vast, ancient consciousness. You are touching the memory of millennia. The sand sifting through your fingers might have once been part of a lush riverbank, where ancient humans fished, or borne the weight of an unseen city, or felt the searing heat of a cosmic impact. The whispers on the wind aren't just air currents. They are the faint, indecipherable echoes of untold stories, of forgotten languages, of lives lived and vanished. This deep connection is why the Sahara can feel so overwhelming, so awe-inspiring, and sometimes so subtly unsettling. It's not just the vastness of the space, but the vastness of the asterisk memory asterisk it contains. It's a place where time itself feels thin, where the past isn't just history, but a living, breathing presence, always just beyond the veil of perception. And it is in these moments of profound quiet, when your own thoughts begin to soften and expand in the face of such immensity, that the Sahara's secrets start to feel less like puzzles to be solved and more like profound truths to be absorbed. So, as you lie there, drifting on the edge of sleep, let that sense of vast, quiet connection settle over you. The Sahara isn't a menacing, desolate void. It's a wise, ancient guardian, a silent, all-encompassing presence. Its secrets are not to be feared, but to be contemplated with a gentle curiosity. The tales of lost civilizations, of ancient rivers, of cosmic impacts, of possible super technologies, they are all threads woven into the vast, intricate tapestry of the desert's memory. And you, listening now, are momentarily part of that tapestry too, connected to an unbroken line of wonder stretching back through geological epochs. Feel the stillness around you, the gentle cool of the night air. The desert is quiet now, its endless work of sculpting and remembering continuing ever so slowly. Beneath the silent, watchful gaze of a billion stars, there's no need to rush, no need to push. The Sahara has all the time in the world, and it will reveal its truths when it's ready, to those who are ready to receive them. Its lessons are etched not just in stone, but in the very stillness that now enfolds you. As your breath deepens and slows, imagine the cool, fine sand sifting softly around you, a gentle lullaby whispered by the ancient wind. The vast, star-dusted sky arches endlessly above, a comforting blanket of cosmic wonders. All the mysteries, all the astonishing possibilities, all the profound truths of the Sahara are now gently settling, folding themselves into the quiet corners of your mind. There's no rush, no pressure, just the slow, steady rhythm of the earth. The desert, in its infinite patience, holds everything within its embrace. You are safe here, nestled in the quiet understanding of an ancient world. All the fascinating secrets, all the strange possibilities, are now softly settling into the tranquil space within you. Let the gentle whisper of the desert winds carry you deeper into peaceful slumber, a calm, vast ocean of sleep. Nothing to worry about now, just quiet dreams of endless sands and endless time, of a world remembered softly by the desert itself. Rest easy and dream of its silent, profound wisdom.